Dear Dimensional Robo Giga Chads, it's finally our time, boys. You know, Metalborgs may be the most competitive DP build in Zero. They may just be the best build in Zero, 100% for this clan. I don't contest that. But you know, there's something here. You know, there's something here that's not satisfied if I'm not riding Daikaiser, right? If I'm not seeing Daikaiser in my games, it just don't feel right. And so today, we're going to be doing the Dimensional Robo that can fight, of course, for Global. You guys have the clan event on right now, so good stuff. And so earlier today, I posted up a tweet saying, please help, I cannot win with D-Robos in Zero. And, you know, the deck definitely is not super high tier by any means, but, you know, I still wanted to win. I felt like I was doing something wrong with my build. And, you know, I got some cool ideas from people on Twitter, from people on Discord, you know, some ideas that I agree with, some that I didn't. And then I tried a bunch of different things, you know, during my downtime today. And so today, we're going to be presenting the deck that I actually ended up pretty happy with and finally started winning with. Hooray, congratulations. Actually starting to see some dubs, some good stuff that we want to see with this deck. And so let me introduce to you the D-Robo build that I'm running with. Of course, since you guys in Global now have this deck as well, I'm sure that you have plenty of ideas how to play it as well. But let's get on to it. And of course, as much as I love Tomadi, we gotta use the Kote skin for this one. There's no other way around it. And so let's talk about it. And I'll explain my techs and my choices and my lineup here in detail. So first things first, I guess let's start from the main grade 3, which is True Super Dimensional Robo Great Daikaiser. No, it's Ultimate, isn't it? Super is the base form, Ultimate is always the evolved form. So True Ultimate, Dimensional Robo Great Daikaiser. So he legions with Great Daiyusha, and he says when you're in Legion, if you have 2 or more Dimensional Robos in your soul, he has 2 crit. So +1 crit, 2 base crit at all times, even during your opponent's turn for whatever reason. So that's great. Always have that crit pressure. And at the end of during the battle that you drive check a grade 3, if your Legion mate has 2 crit, which Great Daisha will have when you're in Limit Break, you can counterblast 1. And for that battle, when your opponent would Perfect Guard, they have to drop 2 at the same time. So they have to discard a PG first in order to use one. So you force out 2 PGs at once, which is always very threatening, right? You know, if you're a real protagonist, you will always check it and destroy your opponent. So of course, Legions with Great Daiyusha, who, of course, on Limit Break 4, when you attack the Vanguard with him, if you have 2 or more Dimensional Robos in the soul, he gets +2k in a crit. So the base power of them combined is quite good. And of course, we also have the Daiyusha, who can function as a cross-ride to buff the number even more. But Daiyusha also has a nice buff in here, which says that in your hand, you can put him to your soul, no longer remove from game, but put to soul, to randomly spawn either a Dai Battles, Dai Lander, Dai Mariner, or a Dai Dragon randomly to your hand. And of course, Dai Dragon is the best hit, but overall they're all good targets because they are D-Robos, and we run the one of Dai Arm. So you'll notice, so not Dai Arm, the Dai Yard. So Dai Yard's main skill that we use him for is Limit Break, to put a Dimensional Robo Regard into the soul, and then search your deck for a grade 3 Dimensional Robo and ride it, and then give it +5k, and put a Drop Zone grade 3 back to your deck. So essentially also sets up the soul in case we've soul blasted out our early stuff. But as you notice, we don't run heal guards in this deck. The reason why, of course, is because of Daikaiser's effect, that we need to check a grade 3 in order to activate the effect. So sadly, we can't run heal guards, but that's okay because we can recycle these heals quite consistently thanks to our new friend Dai Jet. So Dai Jet is a great card. GB1, when you call him, you put a grade 3 D-Robo, Dimensional Robo from your drop back into your deck, give you Vanguard +4k power in the skill, that when the attack hits a Vanguard, you can almost one and draw one. So this card was an act in the TCG, it's an on-place now, which makes sense, it's a very good card, but this is our main way to recycle these heals. And of course, like sometimes we will use a skill, right, in order to put him into the soul. And it's good to have 1 copy in the soul sometimes, you know, for the extra power on the Great Daisha, but usually it doesn't really matter. We have enough power to go around in general, so we need to soul blast it sometimes to legion it back or to put it back with a Dai Jet. That's where our good friend Deathblade comes in. On place Rearguard Circle, soul blast 1 and give another unit +5k. Not only does it help to make your columns be stronger, but also, you know, he just lets you soul blast the heal out of your deck, out of your soul rather, to put back into your deck, which is also very nice. On top of that, we run 4 Dai Braves, which is, you know, the in soul count +1, put it to drop, and then give you back the skill that when its attack hits, you can draw 1. So I was running Laurel before, and I really liked Laurel, but at the same time, it felt like a win more at times. I'm just like trying to check more triggers, and I just went for the more kind of like refined game plan, I guess, with Dai Brave. And I still played 2 of the Dimensional Robo Operator Yuka. So, you know, I have a special connection to Yuka. First ever fan art I ever received for the channel was art of her. And so her skill is GB1. When you place her in Rearguard Circle, give a Dimensional Robo unit +4k. It doesn't have to be Vanguard. So the main reason why I play her is because we usually search Dai Dragon from our first try, who's a 12k attacker if you have a D-Robo Vanguard. And so 12 +7 is 19, right? So it hits when you're going first against the grade 2. But with a +4, that's 23. You can even hit over cross rides, which means we can actually get over defensives, and so I like to buff up those Die Dragon columns like that, or just turn my Legion into something that can get over Heal Guard, right? Because if we're swinging for like 22 or something, right, or 24 or anything below 26, they can just heal guard this. They don't even have to like ditch 2 PGs if you activate the effect. So that's why, you know, you got to be a little bit careful with the numbers here. So that's most of the main deck. I also do run 4 Die Barret. So Die Barret, in my opinion, is a very good card because retiring this deck is actually pretty important, because keep in mind what you're seeing on ladder is still stuff like Tavas, and they like to have Basils and Diamantes in the back row, and they think they're safe. Nah, Die Barret says, put him to soul, give Vanguard +4k. And in the soul, I can counterblast 1 and put him to drop in order to give my Vanguard the skill that when it hits the opponent's Vanguard, I can pop an opponent's rear. So goodbye Basil, goodbye Diamantes, goodbye random good stuff in the back row. That's what the starter's for as well, the Die Shoot, you know, Aite no Goru ni Shoot. So when the Vanguard, you know, if you have a D-Robo Vanguard and GB1, put him to soul, give the Vanguard +4k and the skill that when it hits the Vanguard, retire an opponent's rear. So good card, good starter, so we like that. And then I round out my grade 2s with a 10k vanilla here just to have all D-Robos basically. You know, this deck is as D-Robo as it gets outside of Deathblade and of course the countercharging PGs. You'll notice I don't run Stride Fodders. I tested with Stride Fodders. I was playing 4 at first and 2, and then I just dropped them to 0 because I was like, I always have grade 3s in hand. Like I only really stride twice per game in this deck, maybe a third time, and so I guess with that in mind, we can talk about the strides that we run. Die Earth is the main one you go into. First stride always, second stride usually, and then third stride is usually X Tiger. So his skill is once per turn if you hard as a D-Robo, counterblast 2 and G Persona Blast, and then search your deck for a grade 2 and grade 3 D-Robo and call them, and then if you have 2 or more face-up D-Robos in your G-Zone, he gets a crit. So on first stride he will never get the crit, but you basically always want to fetch out either Die Jet or Die Dragon, because Die Dragon will solo swing into a Vanguard without needing to be boosted, which is very nice, and Die Jet of course will recycle our grade 3s. Usually for the grade 3s I want to call either Great Daikaiser or the Die Yard. Like I don't want to call my Daikaiser because that's a heal. Try to keep those in deck, but in the end the grade 3s will always go back to deck either through Legion or through Die Jet's effect. And you can also Legion back the Die Jets too. Like these are very, very important card in keeping your, like, the consistency of actually checking a grade 3 for the True Daikaiser's effect. And then we run 2 of the X Tiger. X Tiger is actually pretty good as like a third stride, because then you have 4 face-up G units, so you always hit the 45k threshold. So when he attacks the Vanguard, flip a G unit face up, and then for every face-up card in your G-Zone he gets +4k, including, and then if his power is 45k or greater, including boost, he gets an extra crit. So basically a nice way to get it. Like everything has crit basically in this deck, so that's also nice. So speaking of which, you know, speaking of crits and everything having them, I don't run Go Cannon. So Go Cannon is the guy that if you have a Daikaiser Vanguard, you put him another D-Robo Rearguard to Soul to give your Vanguard a crit. Now I don't feel a need for him because I'm always trying to ride this first, and like I understand you can ride Great Daikaiser first, but like the early crits, like it's cool to push to 4, but I feel like you can still achieve the same push to 4 without minusing yourself. I just don't like the -2. Like you're already fiending for resources in this deck by any means necessary. Like removing 2 cards from board just for an extra crit that, like, you know, it will get you closer to your win, but you can get there without the minus, I feel like. So I'm personally not a big fan of it. Then I run 1 of the X-Rogue. When attack hits a Vanguard, if his power is 37k or higher including boost, you can draw 1 and then choose an opponent's random back row priority rearguard and retire it. So it doesn't let you choose, it's random back row priority. And then we run 1 of the Harmonics to counter the Link Joker matchup in case it comes up. So yeah, that's basically the deck. So no heal guards, full on grade 3s. That's basically how this deck should run in my opinion. I think the grade 3s and the grade 2s are quite flexible. I know some people like to ride like Die Hard for the skip ride. Some people like to run Stride Fodder still. Some people want to run Go Cannons. Like there's a lot of different ways to construct this entire deck, to be honest. So feel free to explore different ways, but for me, like in Zero, this deck has been butchered just because like the whole thing about Daikaiser, this Legion in particular, isn't the like, oh, you have to guard with 2 PGs, or like in the TCG was like it breaks a PG, but it wasn't so much that, but it was mostly the fact that you gave your opponent the pressure that they would guard and risk losing their guardians, and that was cool, right? That pressure, it wasn't that you activated his effect that much, it was that you made your opponent think that you were going to check it and they would always overguard or like guard with 2 PGs and like things like that. And that's what I really miss, and it's a shame that that feeling is never going to be captured in Zero, and so sadly the deck just doesn't feel as satisfying to play as a reason. You know, it's just how Zero is, right? It's a different game, it's a different format from the TCG, and that's just how it is, and you got to make use of it. So this is the list that I've come to after trying to make use of it, right? So with that being said, let's get into some games and see the deck in action. All right, we found an opponent right off the bat this time around, and it's going to be Royals. Okay, exciting Azarashi. Alright, well, it's quite the exciting game that we're about to have over here. Of course, with Royals, there's like a bajillion different archetypes it could be. We're going second, so it's almost tempting to keep this for the first strike, because then we can put it back later on anyway. You know what? I think I will. Although we don't have PGs, and PGs are our only form of defense, so I think I'll just bet on finding a grade 3 to stride with. And okay, we redrew the Daiyusha anyway, so that's fine. So yeah, the only thing in this deck is, of course, PGs are your only defense. So if you see any in your opening hand when you're mulliganing, make sure to hold on to them, because that's literally your only defense. Like, your only defense in this deck. Every other deck will have 4 more cards they can defend with, and you don't. All you have is the ability to pierce through with the Fist of Justice, and that's a good compensate, you know, good way to compensate. All right, let's say hello. Let's have a good game. All right, gonna ride the Die Brave here. We probably want to run the Die Ballot next turn as well, so that way we have a nice little start. We can also use the Die Brave to draw an extra card on turn 2, which is also good. Is this MLB? It's hard to say. It could also be like Alfred good stuff, like Alfred Exiv good stuff. Okay, Starlight. Let's see. I mean, some people play Blaster Blade still, but I usually assume it's MLB. Usually, like this so far, like Starlight is using MLB. The Blaster Blade reeks of MLB. Blaster Blade Spirit. Okay, interesting. Okay, he's trying to make sure he hits over defensive, which I respect. Gonna drop a heal to search an all mile. We're playing on even playing field. Okay. I respect it. I'm guessing he doesn't have a grade 3 yet, so it's ult mile with Blaster Blade, I suppose. Alright. We see a Great Daikaiser damage already. He hits over the defensive. Actual Chad. Get another draw. Pretty good. Not gonna complain whatsoever. That is for sure. Get another PG, so we actually have chances of living and surviving here, which is also pretty based. We can actually call another one of these. We don't really need Die Ballast for now. I don't see many like problematic back rows in this matchup, so we're gonna use Die Brave here. We will need to use something to put a soul, so you have to keep that in mind. Might be the starter later on. He is a D-Robo, that's why I run him. 7 cards in hand. I might overdraw. That's the only risk I'm running here. But do I want to aggro that hard? I think we could try. But the only problem is that then, like, I kind of want to attack Vanguard first, because I don't want to whiff my Die Brave after using that skill. I think I'll just put a dragon in the back row for now. And not risk whiffing Die Brave. Like, I think that's a bit too much of a risk. Alright, so let's swing. 14 coming in. Get the heal. Okay, would have still swung. Would have been able to still heal, and we have a really nice drop zone for the Legion later on. Okay, so we're gonna draw into a tanky vanilla. That's good. Alright, that's fine. I mean, I'm still glad that I didn't overcommit, because of course, you know, it's a bit risky. You know, we gotta play it a little bit safe over here. Alright, rides the alt mile. Let's see, what's his follow-up? Going second is good, you know, getting first stride and everything. He only has 1 soul, so this will not be able to actually do anything, so I'm guessing he's just... That might have been a mistake call. Okay, that might have not been an intentional call. I'm gonna guess. Okay, blank blank. Not exactly the best checks. We go to 2 damage, which means we actually can use the Die Earth here to search out a Die Jet, and then, you know, trade into the rears. It'd be nice to also find a grade 1. We don't, unfortunately, but we might still draw into one. Sadly, no lines for Great Daikaiser. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Here we can actually drop the Great Daiyusha. I'm thinking, because we have the starter to put the soul, so I guess I'm not too worried about that. So let's put the heal back and put it back with the Die Jet here on this turn. So I think we'll call a Die Jet and then call it like a Die Yard or something. Oh no, Die Yard went to damage. Alright, let's see. So here I think we want to proc this first and search out you and you. I think that will be a fine pick. And we take you 2 out. Just like that. Sadly, no Yuka. Yuka would have been really nice to make this into a good column so we can swing with Vanguard first. But right now I'm a little bit unsure if I want to do that. Just a tiny bit. Especially because we can really like fill in a lot of grade 3s back into our deck here. And I kind of want to do that. Like, or especially put a lot of heals back. So I think I'll just trade the grade 1 for the time being. I think it's fine. he's kind of low in hand anyway, so I think it's okay. So with this, I think we can just get swinging. Swing into this first, and then see if we check any of these triggers. My hand is really full. I mean, that's the power of Die Earth, you know? Okay. There's a Soul Boss 1. We get the heal, that's good. I was counting on that. So if we check a second one, it will be whiffed. Just like that on cue. On cue with the whiff. And so if he doesn't heal here, we actually get to push him to 4, which is a really nice spot. We do want him at 4 so that the Daikaiser Legion does, you know, work as a threat from very early on. He checks double draw on defensive, which is pretty strong too. But let's see. Where will our opponent take things to on this turn? I'm assuming it's going to be just first strike Gab Blade. Like, I'm on 1, he needs to push. He needs to push in any way possible. Samuel might be the play too. Yeah, Samuel I think is actually quite good, because you can, this way at least push me to 3. Unless he goes for a Spirit here, which he can. I think he can bot deck this Spirit now, and then just search it out from the starter. It just depends if you want to, like, also do multi-attacks or not. Like, All Mile is strong because it can really do anything, right? It can really fit any situation that you want it to fit. But it looks like here he's going for multiple Superior Calls. He could actually use this grade 2 to overcall like a grade 1 in the back or something in order to fetch out a Spirit. Looks like he's going to do it. I don't blame him because I think that's the right play. You need to be like catching up in damage basically. Yep, there's a Spirit. I 100% agree with that. And keep it in the back, right? You don't want to have a weak intercept in the front like that. Get rid of my Die Jet too. And so this turn, I will basically just Legion back my heals. And we're going to use the starter here to get the next soul that we need. And then if we can check any way to power up, that would be good. 8 cards in hand, 3 PGs drawn as well, which is really, really good. Of course, our only defense in the deck. So that is very vital. Alright. I would like to see a grade 1. That's the only thing I'm kind of lacking right now is just grade 1s. Okay, we checks another damage. PG check there. That's important. Heals down. Suddenly, it's not really worth legioning yet. Although we are at 4, so healing down would be nice, but we're going to check a heal anyway. We are blessed, man. I turn on the camera, my luck goes up. I can be as miserable as possible off camera the moment the camera turns on. Dreams come true, man. This feels like another stride turn, honestly. I'm feeling another stride turn. Do I have any Die Jets in deck? So I have 1, so I could put a heal back for now, and then we just like put more grade 3s back next turn. I'm thinking we push him to 5 this way, while still not whiffing heals, which is really, really good. And then that way we can pressure later on. And like, even if he heals down to 4, right? So it's like less annoying, I suppose. So let's ditch the Great Daikaiser here. And straight into Die Earth. Use our CB, that we have 3 face up. 3 open CB here, very nice. I'll just notice that the field is a little cut off here. Alright, so with this now, our soul is pretty empty, so we're going to basically just use this skill to call out another Die Jet and a... Well, I guess at this point, it's going to be the Daikaiser. So we're going to call you here, call you here. We can overcall these grade 3s as well, so it's also fine, but most importantly, we get a crit here, which is very, very, very important. Alright, there we go. Put the heal back. Bada bing, bada boom, there we go, and then we can actually use the starter here, get the soul, and pop the intercept in the back there, and then honestly we can just kind of Yuka here. I might want to keep the Yuka for later, but... I think I'll call her here. We don't need the rears as much here, and I want to keep the Great Daikaiser in the back. So we can power up this column. Doesn't really matter what we power up at this point. And I kind of want to Die Jet here, but we can also just call Die Jet again later on. 8 card deck, no draws left though, so that means I'm pretty safe to swing in. The only things I can proc is heals, so we really need to rely on these Die Jets to like put stuff back, and also we might even re-legion, like that's why I'm holding on to the second Daikaiser in hand. Alright, I don't know why he's emoting, there's nothing really emote worthy, I'm just proceeding as instructed, I suppose. We don't need to draw here, but I will pop the Blaster Blade here. The grade 1 is also worthy pop, but honestly, like, at this point I might as well make him work harder for his grade 2s. Because, you know, even though this deck does specialize on grade 2s, it is a finite number, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gone here, 7 out. 7 out, he can put 1 back, so he still has, 6 out, right? So, you know, we just keep it going. Okay, All Mile, of course, the stride will search a grade 2. That's definitely true. Theoretically, can proc this first to call something out, and then use the Alt Mile on stride skill, which he will do. understandable. And you can also search out the Glimmer Breath clone here, this guy, the Benizel. Or Twin Sword, yeah, Twin Sword works too. You can do some nasty Twin Sword combos, and I have 3 PG, so I should be able to survive, regardless of how nasty they get. Okay, just calling it Pier. Buff up the Pier as well, that makes sense. And now use the starter, I guess, to call out a Spirit. And that way we can bash the Spirit into the Intercept. And then Twin Sword Overcall, push me to 5. Oh no, that pushes me to 4. And then whatever he calls pushes me to 5, and then Obal can try to swing at my first PG, I suppose. Alright. Emilius gonna be used here. Find himself the Blaster Blade Spirit, that's right. 4 cards in hand, so I'm quite hopeful for checking these PGs, man. Getting rid of them PGs in hand. So far the game's been quite balanced, I want to say. I think that's the best way to put it. It's been quite balanced, but he does burn through all of his counterblast here, so even if let's say we take out 2 PGs in one turn, or like in one battle, the cool thing about that is that you actually force them to like ditch the PG before it checks for the PG and drop for the counter charge, which is quite nice. Oof, another Grade 3 goes down there. So it's going to be another heal whiffed. He gets the counter charge, that's good, that's good. Alright, 34 coming down. The heal is good, but he can't heal below 4, so that's the most important thing there. The crit comes through as well, luckily. You know, I don't run heal guards. Another PG. Or is that the one PG we saw earlier? Not sure. Alright, but I believe... Alright, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, no stride. It is time. Alright, we need to put our Great Daiyushas back. As many Grade 3s as possible. Daijets, we can put back next turn. We can put those back next turn. Let's go. Yeah, it's time, boys and girls. It is time. It is time. Alright, here we go. Great Daiyusha again. We need to push the power just a tiny bit. So of course, Daijet will help us get there. Let's put back the Daikaiser. So 26, this goes out of heal guard range, which is good. And then finally, I don't think I want to keep the Grade 2s for now in hand. And this I don't want to use before we re-legion. So I think this is okay for now. 26 is the number we need to hit to get over the heal guard. Because either I force 2 heal guards or I force out, you know, a PG. I'm pretty happy either way. So, let's see if we check a Grade 3. If Destiny is right for us, that's a whiff into... That's right. Heal trigger and a Grade 3 and the skill procs. Get out of here, buddy. Show me those 2 PGs. Show me them 2 PGs, buddy. Hey, not even close. Not even close. Do we see a heal on 6? Do we see a heal on 6? We do not. And just like that, we get those dubs, baby. We get those dubs as deserved. I get my daily 2. Let's go. We get them wins in. Very good. Very good. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Not gonna lie. Pretty happy with that game. I think, you know, got to show that Die Earth is good to also go back into. You know, it's a nice strike to make use of to replenish your board and also just keep those Grade 3 cycling with Daijet. I don't know, man. Daijet is such a nostalgic card for me because I used it for so many years in TCG. It's crazy how much mileage that card has. So yeah, pretty good. Hey, 420, very nice. Gamer number. So with that, let's go for another game. Alright, who's going to be our second opponent? Shadows, Hanzaki, Rosto Endo. Alright, let's have a good one. I'm excited for this. Going first this time around. Of course, we like going second. You know, first stride is always going to be very, very important. We have a Die Brave to start. Yuka, we need PGs though. We need them PGs, baby. Alright, we have Stride Fodder. No PGs though. So Mr. Die Brave better draw me into one. I better see a nice one. A nice PG right off the top. David is here too. Okay, PG. Cool. Alright, that's one down. That's one down already. Sadly, I can't be like Hanzaki and search them left and right, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Alright, going first is... It's okay, I guess. It's not great for this deck. It's like, preferably you want to go second every time, because like, getting to Die Earth first is always good, because you just, you know, cycle faster. You write Swordbreaker first, which means... I mean, chances are that's the one Swordbreaker out. Some people do play 2 even in Claret. Well, I don't know if this is Claret. This could just be like funky PBD. So, alright. Let's ride the Die Ballot. I don't know if I want to use Die Brave here, to be honest, but I kind of want to push at the same time. Like, get that early damage in. If I am going first, I kind of want to get the early damage in. And I think I will, because my hand here is kind of yikes. So we can hopefully convert something into... You know, convert this Die Brave into something better. So let's get swanging. We're gonna get a hit here, maybe proc a heal. Nope. Couldn't talk that into fruition, unfortunately. PG goes down for my opponent, which is good. We got another die jet. I mean, that's a search target, but also I'm fine with drawing into them too. Okay, it is a Claret deck, okay. And this is the Clash of Chads, but he's running draws. So he's not the Omega Chad that he could be, you know? True Omega Chads run 9 crit. Alright. Oh, he's going in with the doggos. So this is the countercharge doggo in GB1. Searching a Claret. Ooh, that's a top 1k at the very least. Okay. You know, I was looking at, I think it was Shira-san? I think it was Shira. So the Sanctuary player. Sanctuary of Light player. But he actually said he had a really good win rate with Claret during the Gabriel season. He had like an insane amount of games with it. So maybe it's the sauce, you know? Maybe it's the sauce that we're not aware of, right? Here we'll just contest damage. Like, we'll just trade the Dijet in and not worry too much, because I don't want to overdo my resources. Like, obviously next turn we search a intercept, but I don't want to like overdo it, basically, because we'll probably search like Dijet plus grade 3, put the grade 3 to the back, and then set up the other Dijet in the front row. No heals to put back for now, like only one grade 3 in here, so we can be a little bit careful with that as well. Rise the Claret. I'm not too hot on the animation, not gonna lie. The Claret animation, not super hot, I think. It's not something worth, you know, necessarily... You pay for the voice, right? You pay for the voice, you pay for the character, you pay for the Yoasawa Tsumi. You're not paying for the animation here with this skin. Alright. Ooh, I like it. I like it. That's a good tech. Good little one of the Death Spray. So you can actually take out my Die Brave, which is not bad. It's not bad. Alright. Coming in. We gotta draw defensive. Oh, we gotta power up, you know? We gotta power up. Get that buff. Oh, okay, he's gonna get rid of my... Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I actually need to use Die Dragon this game then. Probably. Because I want to push him to 4, because, like, especially if he heals down here. If he heals down, it's kind of yikes. Alright, let's see who's gonna kill him. I'm assuming it's a David. Yeah, it's a David, okay. It's a PG. That's important information for me, too. And the draw comes out, too. Ooh, the crit actually procs. He does run some crits. Alright, I see you. I see you pushing me to 5 like that. That's actually kind of scary. Not gonna lie, if PG goes down to the damage. I got 2 PGs to my name. But if the Doomed retires my intercepts next turn, it might be a bit of a bad news bears. Well, regardless, we go for Die Earth as usual. Business as usual here. So we can go for a search for Great Daikaiser and a Die Jet, I think. Are all my heals still in deck? They are. Okay. Okay. That's kind of good. I'm thinking of even using the starter here to like pop the... Like, pop his resources as much as possible, because the Retire 3 on Doomed is actually kind of heavy, even for a deck like this. Like, even for a deck like this, it can get kind of heavy, so... We make use of that as best as we can. Yeah, I'm gonna probably call them like this. Just for the time being. And put back the... We'll put the Daikaiser back for now. It's a draw anyway. Draws are good, we like draws. We're gonna use this as well to get rid of the countercharger. Just kind of control resources a little bit here, right? You know? Just control resources a little bit. Don't overdo it either. I'm probably not going to proc any of my card draw off the Die Jet here. I think we're quite okay to just get swinging, I think. It's tempting to trade, because I'm happy keeping him at 4 and then controlling this whole board. I think I'm going to go for that. So we're going to trade actually into the intercept here. But first, let me just swing with Vanguard in this case, like if I'm already trading like this. This way we can kind of control his board a little bit. The heal is actually really big. That's the grade 3 back into our drop. Okay, we're drawing to the Daikaiser we put back. Pretty good. We're currently at 8 cards in hand, so I have to be a little bit careful. Okay, he checks a heal defensive. That's fine. We're going to get rid of the countercharger. I think I'm still going to go for the trade here. I'm thinking. I don't want to draw. My hand's good. Yeah, I don't want to give him the free retire. Like, you can search your Swordbreaker here, but if I can keep him at 4, I'm pretty happy, honestly. I'm pretty happy if I can keep him at 4. I'm pretty sure he's going into Doomed here as well, and if I can make him commit any of that 6-card hand down. I know there's a PG in there and a grade 3, right? We know there's a Claret. There's a Claret plus a PG. Ooh, did you see that? You see that? He overpaid to put the Swordbreaker back. But that's so, like... do you really want to call down that much from your hand? Because like you have to kill 3 to get back 2 and then refill your board to still swing at me, right? Because you want to like get my 2 PGs out of my hand, right? So he's going to use a Swordbreaker because that's your only way of cycling your soul out. So he needs to get this other Swordbreaker out. He does run 2, which I respect. Okay, that's going to help the Great Tuna main, but you can't use it. You don't have CB. Oh, wow. Are you going to get rid of the intercept here? He is. Wow, okay. Like that's the thing that... I mean, I'm glad I retired his stuff because he has a heal out. Okay, you can pop both of my intercepts. That's good for him. That's very, very strong, actually. Does he still have all of his heals in that? God damn, dude. Solo swinging! What? What is in his hand? God damn, he's solo swanging. He's solo swanging. My man really said solo swang. Oh, damn, that's a heal, huh? I'm thinking of going into another Die Earth. Going to another Die Earth, search a Die Jet, and then make a column search a Die Dragon, and then make a column with a Die Jet to put back this heal. Because I think we have 2 heals in there, right? Yeah, I think we hold on the Legion for now. Because he definitely has 1 PG, we can get that out now, and then we can pressure him with the Legion skill the turn after. I think that's how we should do. Damn it, I just feel I'm like in my element when I play this deck. I'm in my element. You know what that means? It's just when you click, when the connection is made, you know? The overlay network is constructed, you know, between you and your deck. And that's based. That's what they call based. The kids these days. That's what they call it. Alright, cool. Use Die Earth with the crit, and then we can swing for a double lethal point. So that's also very nice. Alright. Die Jet, do your job. Put back the heal. That's cool. Very nice. Get the power on the Vanguard. Not that it really matters at this point, but we shall take it. And then make this into a column that can hit. And now we check our heals. Let's see them. Alright. Nothing, nothing, and nothing. Okay. Well. Thing is, I know he has a heal guard. Is there a line where we just pass here? We pass and he can't use Stride Skill? And he can't use Aura Geyser? I think we just pass. I think we just pass, because if I give him 1 CB, he has, like, he has Doomed available then to start retiring, whereas here, he doesn't have a way to pop my intercept, so 1 PG will actually keep me alive. Oh, okay. Things are getting interesting here. Calls down the heal. You're gonna pop this, aren't you? For Claret's skill. Wow, okay. That does give him a CC, by the way, because it pops even if you retire it. All effects are like that. Like if you put a card into Soul that has an effect of like when something is sent to Soul. What? Once per turn, right? Calls down the PG! Is this Kanzaki IRL? Wait, why do you call down the heal behind your Vanguard? You don't need that! Oh, to get over the heal guard? Bro, I don't play heal guards! You've seen my Dayushas. Alright, I respect it. You know what? You gotta respect the Chad. This also means I don't get countercharge. Oh, no, I do have a PG in the drop. Sorry, I can't speak. Let's go. Best deck. Diablo, 0 wins, right? D-Robos, 2 wins. Best deck confirmed, baby. God damn. God damn. Don't ever let me play this deck again. Don't ever let me play this deck again. Don't let me enter a tournament. Do not let me play D-Robo seriously. It's over, man. They're gonna ban me from the server. They're gonna ban me from the server. They're gonna tell me to stop playing the game. I'm literally unlimited. They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming. God damn, dude. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy. You know, I had to, you know, fix the deck up a little bit. Laurel was not the spice I was looking for, but it's looking good. So D-Robo believers, I invite you to finish the damn clan event. Get yourself the 4 pairs. Not the 4 pairs, sorry, the 2 pairs. The 2 pairs of 4 copies of Die Earth. You can see how important it is. You just gotta, like, if you have 1 boost skin, you gotta put in, like, just maybe like 1,000 gems or so, and you can get the 4 pairs. Trust me, it's worth it, alright? It's worth it. Trust me on this, alright? Have fun with the deck. It's really, really fun. This is my son, Daikaiser. I wish I could have made this video earlier, but other decks had my I know, just was prioritizing them, and that was basically it. But all things, you know, all's well that ends well, right? All's well that ends well. But with that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give it a like if you did. I would really appreciate that. It does help. You can leave a comment if you want to. It does help a lot. Share with your friends. That also helps a lot for the channel. And of course, subscribing does a big one too. So please do, so we can reach that 50K, that lovely number that we've been striving for. But on that note, guys, that's going to be it for me today. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.